What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 14. And we're starting today's episode off with transfer deadline day. That's right, 10 hours to work out magic with around 23 to 24 million pounds in the transfer budget. And it was looking like it was going to be a really quiet transfer window as well. We had a bit for Den Donker with 6 hours to go. Lyon wanted to take him to France. They must not have watched the last game against Manchester City. Of course, we rejected it. And yeah, I can't blame the Belgian what happened in that game, really, can we? And also for Renato Sanchez as well. Atletico Madrid wanting to take him to Spain for 34.3 mil, and I just laughed at that bid. If his current market valuation is only 33 million, he's only 24 years old, and we love the guy to pieces. Come on, mate, give us a serious offer. 34 mil, get out of my office. But still, regarding those bids there, I did decide to try and make one more signing to this Wolves team before deadline day was over, and I wanted a new central midfielder as well for this team to sit on the bench primarily. As we know, João Moutinho is retiring come the end of the season and is rapidly declining in his range of attributes as well. So I wanted an English midfielder to come in and sit on the bench. Someone in their prime right now, but either isn't getting used much at their current club or could possibly be a step up from their current club and play European football for us. And I had 5 names on the shortlist. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was the one I really wanted from Chelsea. Unfortunately, just didn't have the cash to pull it off. I thought Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, of course the former Arsenal and Southampton man, now playing for Liverpool. But I wasn't sure about the realism of that. I mean, he's still used quite heavily in rotation by Jurgen Klopp, and he has been linked to Wolves previously. In fact, funny enough, as recently as this season. But I wasn't sure about the realism of that, again, due to the fact he is still quite in rotation with Klopp right now. Harry Winks of Spurs I thought would be good. Obviously got a youngster out on loan called Skip right now at Carrow Road with Norwich in the Championship, and I think once he gets back, Mourinho would like to use him quite a bit. And Winks is one of those players who, again, will probably thrive in a more starting role elsewhere. And then there was Ross Barkley of Chelsea, formerly of Everton, as we know, currently on loan at Aston Villa right now, and Calvin Phillips of Leeds United as well. Obviously, the rest of the players are players who are currently rotation-based players at their clubs, whereas Phillips, as we know, is a regular starter with Leeds. Really, really good player, very underrated as well. But unfortunately, Leeds would not let him go. They were very reluctant to negotiate with me, so I decided to walk out of deals there and just leave him at the road. He loves the club regardless, so I thought that was kind of cool, just leaving him there. But as for Ross Barkley, that was the final player I negotiated a bid for, and I'll be honest here, out of the 5, he was the one I didn't want as much. But we negotiated a very cheap deal of just £16 million for the former Everton man. And obviously, Winks is 2 years younger, and he's 2 ratings higher as well. Barkley's got a 5-star weak with 4-star skill moves. I really like that a lot, and Winks is more of a deeper based player, more of a deep line playmaker, whereas Barkley in my opinion is much better when you give him more free rein to push him further forward. And obviously, as we know, we're trying to do this career mode as realistically as possible. I wasn't sure what would be more realistic, Ross Barkley or Harry Winks. In the end, I thought Barkley would be slightly more realistic because Winks could still muscle his way into Spurs' starting 11 on a regular basis. But to be honest here with Ross Barkley, I don't think he's ever going to be a regular starter for Chelsea. I thought this deal was a bit more realistic, and you know, as we know, we're not doing this career mode primarily just to sign the best players and the youngest players and the best wonder kids in the game, and so on and so forth. It's all about trying to do things as realistically as possible, as we also rejected this bid here for Bolly from Lyon, I think it was. So I would for Barkley for the realism, and I think I made the right choice there as well. And for 16 million as well, that's a really decent deal. You know, Barkley is an England international. I know he's not regularly in the England side now, but he's been capped for the country over 30 times. He's got European experience playing for Chelsea. You know, not long ago, he was sort of in the rotation with Chelsea, although, of course, a very, low down the pecking order type of player. Now he's gone out on loan at Aston Villa. He's had a good start this year at Villa Park as well. And, let's just say, realistically, he had a good season last year on loan at Aston Villa. Now he wants to keep playing first-team football. He's not going to get out of Chelsea, but he'll get a lot more minutes here at Molineux. So Barkley was our final signing of the transfer window, coming in on deadline day for £16 million. We see our departures and signings here. Ait Nouri returning, Ross Barkley coming in, Andre Silva as our backup striker for Jimenez, and Rafa, our big money signing of £36 million arriving as well. So far, hasn't been very impressive, I'll be honest here. But still, for the window, again, I think we did things very realistically. And I also like the improvement we made as well. You know, my key going into this summer window was adding more depth to the side and making it stronger in depth as well. We've certainly done that with the arrivals of Silva and Rafa, having Podence coming off the bench now, and obviously Andre Silva being a much better backup striker than Patrick Cutrone was. Again, Nuri coming back on a permanent deal, I really like that. Gibbs White has returned from his loan spell from Swansea last year, and obviously Ross Barkley will take over from João Moutinho as our third choice central midfielder behind Renato Sanchez and Ruben Neves at some point this season. So yeah, again, realistically, I think we've done a good job in the summer window. I like how the team's shaping up, and we've improved it as well, gradually, but again, we're trying to do things as realistically as possible. And so for the first game of 2 in today's episode, taking on Brentford, a newly promoted side to the Premier League, finally up after so many attempts to get in to the top flight, taking them on at Molineux, and as you can see, starting off this game on the back of that heartbreaking loss at the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City. Let's just say, based on the way the defeat happened, I was out for revenge. I recorded this game and the transfer deadline day soon after doing the last game against Manchester City, as I made these 2 episodes together. I was still, let's just say, not angry about what happened in the last game, but still very frustrated and pretty goddamn annoyed. So taking on Brentford, I sort of, I don't know, unleashed my anger and rage on the bees in this game, because 10 minutes in, we went 2 goals up. First Renato Sanchez heading in and Adama Traore cross, and then once again Traore with yet another assist, assisting Raul Jimenez as we went 2 goals up there, with the Mexican scoring already his 3rd goal of the campaign. So a very early start for Wolves, 2 goals up, and 2-0 became 3-0 16 minutes in, and once again Adama Traore with the assist. This guy is just an assist king. He had more assists than anyone else in our team last year. It was only a couple of assists behind Sergio Aguero, who had more assists than anyone else last year. But Traore, you know, the reason why I didn't want an inside forward on the right is because I want to keep on playing the Spaniard. He's really, really effective. Whilst he doesn't score many goals, he does set a lot up. So leading by 3-0 would then become 4-0 24 minutes in, and again it's that football myth, Renato Sanchez when he gets a goal. Normally 9 times out of 10 it's Raul Jimenez that gets the assist. It was for this moment as well, as the Mexican plays for his bro, and Renato Sanchez has a hat-trick inside 30 minutes, his first hat-trick for the club. We're leading by 4, and I was just showing absolutely no mercy to Brentford. I was still angry about what happened in the last game, so wanted to make sure I got all my aggression out in this one and continued to stay in attack mode. And heading towards the closing stage of the first half, we get ourselves a 5th goal, and finally, at the 5th time of asking, Rafa gets his first goal for the club. He had a disallowed goal against Fulham, of course, as we know, back on match day 3, but this goal stands. Jimenez crossed to the back stick, and the Portuguese winger gets his first goal in the Premier League. So 5-0 up heading into half time, and there were no highlights in the second half. I kind of eased off a little bit after being very, very aggressive in the first half, and 5-0 was indeed the final score. A match ball and a hat-trick for Renato Sanchez and the champagne as well, as we saw Ryan Giles here to Wayne Rooney's Derby County. But yeah, Sanchez with his first hat-trick for the club. I'm surprised he didn't get one all throughout the course of last season, to be fair, as we know he was sort of joint player of the season alongside Raul Jimenez. I'm surprised he never got a hat-trick last year, but now he has his first hat-trick in a 5-0 demolition of Brentford. You wouldn't notice in the game as well, Paulo Gazzaniga started that one. I dropped Patricio for the game after the gaff against Manchester City. Gazza kind of started a build-up for one of our 5 goals, and I started him in midweek against Mulder as well. Patricio is 34 years old, and whilst he signed a 2-year contract extension, I'm not against giving Gazza a few more games this season than he got throughout the course of last year. He didn't start a single Premier League game last season. That was his first for us, and he kept a clean sheet as well. And so for our second and final game of today's episode, first Europa League game of the series after last year's Europa League ghost campaign, if you will. Taking on the Norwegians, Mulder away from home. Andre Silva will grab his first goal for the club. That was really nice to see. And on the hour mark as well, Sanchez capped off. Will be a great week for him with a hat-trick against Brentford and his first European goal for us as well. Nato dinks it to the back stick. Sanchez brings it down the chest and half volleys it into the bottom corner to give us a 2-goal lead in what was looking like a very routine, sort of calm performance. Unlike against Brentford, when I was really, really aggressive and searching out as many chances and goals as possible, I was a lot more slower in my play in this game. But 2-0 would become 3-0 with 10 minutes to go. Pablo Nato with a lovely goal here, chipping the ball over the goalkeeper after Matteson, the young teenager playing for a contract this year, sent him through. And I love those chip goals as well, where the player runs off celebrating forward, the ball hits the back of the net. It's like the footballing equivalent in a superhero movie where like the hero like detonates a bomb in a building and explodes and he's walking away from it and he's not looking back at the explosion, because why would he? He's done his job. He doesn't need to see the aftermath. That's like what happens when you chip the ball in with a player. It's going to nestle in the back of the net, but he doesn't see it actually go across the line. But 3 to the final score, starting the Europa League group campaign off with a win, and a great win over Brentford as well by 5-0 to return and respond after our defeat to Manchester City. But that win in today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.